So to start off thinking about Buddhism, I just wanted us to have a map in mind of what people generally refer to as South Asia or East Asia. So we have been thinking about India with Hinduism and its surroundings, Nepal, Pakistan, um, Bengal, like that. All of these places are ultimately not where Buddhism is practiced, but they do have a big influence on it. So you see this big circle is where um, the Buddha is born, where Siddhartha Gautama is born. And then we see that Buddhism goes out in all different directions. So the first place where we really see it going is down into Sri Lanka. And then one of the places that's going to occupy us the most is China, and also Japan. So two of the examples we're going to use look at the practice of what's called Pure Land Buddhism in China, and then we're going to look at Zen Buddhism in Japan. Zen Buddhism may be the form of Buddhism that a lot of Americans, especially, are most familiar with, but we really want to think about what are some of the common ideas and practices that are rooted in India, that are rooted even in the way that Buddhism emerges out of a reaction against the caste system and other parts of proto-Hinduism or Hinduism, depending how you think about the time period. And then we're going to track it. And so this map also shows us what your textbook refers to as the three vehicles of Buddhism. So we see that beginning in India, there that we have some of the Buddha's ideas, but then with that movement, there begin to be kind of discrete ideas of how Buddhism should be practiced. So we know that when people move, change happens, right? As well as over time, change is going to happen. So in Sri Lanka, then in Southeast Asia, in Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, these areas, right? Well, Vietnam is more simply Mahayana. Vietnam is one of the places where our map is showing us the first shift from what we might think of as a very early, maybe that's how your textbook presents it, Theravada Buddhism. Theravada Buddhism has a much smaller canon of literature. Okay, so some of the texts, such as the Lotus Sutra, uh, these are going to be what unlock the difference between Theravada and Mahayana. And in these places on this kind of Southeast Asian peninsula, Theravada is also present in contact with, alongside, but often a kind of fusion with forms of Hinduism. And Hinduism is practiced differently in these areas, including the idea that there's not caste in the same way as there is in India. Okay, so Mahayana Buddhism is then, we see geographically and numerically, is by far the largest vehicle of Buddhism. And Mahayana includes far more than one, what we might call school of Buddhism, okay? So when we're looking at Zen and at Pure Land Buddhism, we're thinking about two different forms of Mahayana Buddhism. And then the last, or the third vehicle of Buddhism that your textbook introduced was Vajrayana or Tibetan Buddhism. Okay, so Tibet's up here. It is politically uh, now a part of China. And when we get to it, we'll think about what role politics have played. So Tibetan Buddhism is in many ways dependent on some of the main ideas and texts that are part of Mahayana, but it also is deeply influenced by local practices. Tantra is much greater of a practice in Tibetan Buddhism. If you think of, for example, the prayer flags that you might see commonly, those are not a part of all of Buddhism. Those are especially uniquely Tibetan or Vajrayana Buddhism. Okay, so we have a big map, and we're going to be starting with some basic ideas and then tracing how those develop and change with this movement across the Asian continent.